to my channel. My name is Jenny and I'm here today to give you my January TBR. Feels very late to be giving you this video. I have started off January with a big book again, and this one is Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. You can see all my sections here because I am doing the read along with Jason of Old Blues Chapter and Verse, and it's called Cromwellathon if you're looking for videos about it on here. He is planning to do a read along of all 3 books in this trilogy by Hilary Mantel. The first one goes until the first week of February, and then into February and then March for the 3rd one, which is coming out this year in the United States and Canada. I am full in for this one, and I don't think I'm going to read all 3. I don't feel like I can maintain that pace and get all the other books I want to read this year read. So I'm really enjoying this, though. As you can see, I've already started, so this is where I am so far. And this book was on my 5-star predictions list that I made during Vlogmas. So far so good. Really enjoying the writing style that Hilary Mantel's using. I have previously read books concerning Henry VIII. I read a biography of Henry VIII and of his daughter Mary and of Elizabeth. So I have some familiarity with the family, with the drama, and with the cast of characters. I did read them a long time ago though, so everything is a refresher. This series of novels follows Thomas Cromwell, who is the lawyer of the Cardinal Wolsey. At the beginning, I'm still very at the beginning of this story, but yeah, it's a great story. Won the Man Booker in 2009. So this is the big book I'm reading this month. I talked about this memoir last in December, and I did not get to it in December because I ran out of time. Hot Sun, Cool Shadow by Angela Murrells. She is a dual house owner. So she owns a home in Vancouver, and she is looking for, at this stage in the memoir, her home in the Languedoc region of France. And she's also associating it a lot with food. So there is a recipe per section in here for traditional French food that comes from this area of France. This is the western part of France, southern western part of France, closer to Spain. And I stayed there a few years ago on vacation, so it's lovely and it's reminding me of being there, and I'm learning more about the area, which is really great. My audiobook for January is Mozart's Starling by Lyanda Lynn Hoft. You may remember me, I've mentioned her before on my channel. She wrote Crow Planet, which is one of my favorite nonfiction books ever. She is a bird lover, a bird writer, and so I can pretty much feel assured that no matter what she writes, I'm going to enjoy it. And I am really enjoying this so far. Obviously, by the title, you know that this is a biography of Mozart, but in a kind of more loose way, because what she's relating is the story of how he purchased a starling from a bird shop, and Ohat took the starling home with him, and it inspired his music, and the disdain that people have for this bird, because in North America it is a invasive species. And so she goes through the history of the bird and also how it relates to Mozart and her own finding of a starling and raising it, and how she comes to understand her subjects by interacting with them and putting herself in the shoes of Mozart, so to speak, by having her own starling. So far, really enjoying it. I just love her way of weaving her life in with the subjects that she's talking about. I don't know that many nonfiction writers that do it as well as she does, with as much humility and as much poetic licensed. She just has lovely, lovely turns of phrase and ways of describing the things that she's talking about. I have 2 more books on my TBR for January. One of them is The Good Muslim by Tamina Anam. I read A Golden Age by Tamina Anam 2 years ago in January, and so I decided to read the second book in this trilogy, which is called A Good Muslim. And these books are set in Bangladesh. The first one is set during the Civil War in Bangladesh, and this one continues on a little bit further on, and it goes into fundamentalism and how fundamentalism within the Muslim religion takes root in Bangladesh and following the same family that is from A Golden Age. So I'm very excited to delve back into that world and Tamina Anam's writing. She was on my 12 authors to read in 2020, so she gets the first spot. Really excited to get to that one. And the other book I'm reading is another nonfiction, and it is December 8th, 1980, the day John Lennon died, by, I will insert the author here because I've forgotten. This is a shorter book. It is going into kind of the general feelings, the events. I think it's kind of a play-by-play of December 8th, 1980, the day that John Lennon was shot. John Lennon of the Beatles, in case you don't know who John Lennon is. And I have several Beatles biographies on my TBR. I have one for George Harrison and another one for John Lennon, and but I wanted to pick this one because it is at the very end of my library TBR list, and I'm trying to go to the very back and pick out some of those books that have been on my TBR list the longest. This one has been on there for years, and so I want to get it read. So those are my books for January so far. If I'm able to get through these quickly, I may have space for one more, but I am not going to hold my breath on that because you know how life can be. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be definitely doing a kind of midway through Wolf Hall video, and then probably in my final wrap up, I will talk about my impressions about it as well. There are some people making videos about this readathon, so have a look for those if you're interested. And I will be back again soon with another video. Thank you for watching.